Alright, what's up everyone? This is Donnie, aka Elevated, with another video here on Dota Alchemy, and this is a follow-up to my last video about the best tips for gaining rank. I just finished calibrating today. It's been, I guess, about a week since that last video came out, so it took me a little bit to do my calibration matches. I was casting earlier this week and just have been very busy. And instead of forcing my way through the calibration games as I have in the past, I just played when I could and when I felt like I wanted to play. And this is definitely the best calibration that I've had. I think my first one, I went something like 5 and 5. My second one, I went 3 and 7, maybe 4 and 6, something like that. This one, I went 8 and 2, playing only hard support, essentially. I had one game of position 4 in there, this bounty hunter game. When I calibrated, or at the end of last season, I was 5,011 MMR, I believe. So I gained about, I think, approximately 380. So, 62, 63 MMR per game is about what the calibration matches were worth for me. And I was casting a CIS tournament with Breaky, the We Play event, and we did like a 10-hour day, and then we did a 12-hour day, and then we did an 11-hour day, and I was waking up at 3 a.m. to cast this because it's taking place in Ukraine. And so I finally broke down and played a couple of games after that third day. I was like, I need to get some games in. I want to, move towards calibrating, and surprise, surprise, I lost 3 games in a row. These two were, and this is how tired I was. And I apologize to my teammates for all 3 of these games because I was definitely kind of toxic and kind of sleep deprived and just not very good at Dota. I shouldn't have played. This Wyvern game was definitely very close. The Crystal Maiden game was not good. I was just feeding. It was definitely really bad. And then this Shadow Shaman game, which made me stop queuing because I realized how tired I was and how dumb I was, is I queued. When I queue, I have hard support, soft support, safe lane, because those are the 3 roles that I really like playing, and I want a little bit of diversity. Of course, as most people know, you basically just get hard support every single game if you have it ticked. And so that's what's been happening to me. I probably had played about 30 hard support games in a row with that exact queue configuration, and this Shadow Shaman game I queued for hard support and first picked Shadow Shaman and bought all the wards like I had in many games before that, and my team was like, what are you doing? And then luckily they were kind enough to switch things around a little bit, but the game was not very good, and it was definitely 100% my fault. So I apologize to my teammates for that one. I just wanted to kind of give my basic tier list of what I think the best supports are right now, and if you're a support who's looking to calibrate, I think that these are the ones that you should be looking to pick. So if we go to my ranked support, I've made a few changes, and I would say for position 5, I think that the heroes you should be focusing on are Crystal Maiden, Undying, Jakiro, Keeper of the Light, Grimstroke, and Winter Wyvern. I think that all of those do a lot of really important jobs very well. Most of them have either experience or gold talent somewhere in their talent tree, which I think is very crucial to being a good support right now. And they also all fit into this interesting sort of multi-job. They can all push out waves pretty well, except for Undying, but he does something else, which is that he's a save, he's a team fighter, he's a frontliner, he's a lane bully, so he does a bunch of different things really well. One thing I did notice about the meta, and I noticed this from casting games and also from playing, is that it actually might be better to not pull as much and fight more right now. I definitely think that you still want to be pulling and controlling the creep wave to get a experience advantage on your opponents, but you probably are going to have to fight for the pull to some extent. And a lot of the time, if you have good trading heroes, you should really just be trying to out trade the other person, burn through all of their regen as quickly as possible, because then after that, it becomes much easier to bully them out of lane. You don't even really have to worry so much about the equilibrium because you can just force them away from the creeps because they have no regen to sustain. So those are the position 5 heroes. And the newest addition to this list is Keeper of the Light. This hero is, I think, incredibly overpowered right now as a 5. They added a bit of damage to Blinding Light and made it 14-second cooldown. So this is actually what you should go first. You go first level Blinding Light. You use it to push people off of bounty runes to steal it. You trade early with it because you can out-trade people with the 70% miss chance that it gives plus the 50 damage. And then another thing is you have 332 base movement speed, so nobody can really catch you, and you can just kind of like whack people, Blinding Light, whack, 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 run away, and just completely out-trade people because nobody can catch up to you. Then after that, you are going to be maxing Chakra Magic with a point and Illuminate, where you think you want to start maybe de-pushing lanes, but Chakra is a completely broken skill. I cannot believe how good the skill is. It just makes you able to sustain out of the base forever. Unless you're dying on this hero, you basically never have to go back to base. You get Tranquil Boots, and then you have Chakra Magic, and then you can just be on the map forever, and you can just de-push lanes forever, and you can push lanes in forever. And you get this EXP talent at level 10, 30% EXP, and since you're never having to go back to base, you get that quickly, and then you still never have to go back to base, so you continue to just accelerate. And then Keeper of the Light happens to be one of the best team fighters in the game because this skill is also not very balanced, and you can also just refresh your teammates' crazy abilities. So like Berserker's Call for Axe, for example, if this is maxed out and Berserker's Call is maxed out, then you can literally Berserker's Call, Chakra, Berserker's Call, and disable somebody for over 6 seconds in that way. Or, you know, you can use it on yourself and just continue to blast out waves and force the other team back to their side of the map so that your team can win team fights elsewhere. Other highlights from this were that I really, again, reestablished my love for Winter Wyvern. Jenkins and I have talked about this hero quite a bit, but basically the ability, kind of like Coddle in some sense, where you can just keep waves out forever with Splinter Blast. The fact that you have a GPM talent. Night Vision is really good right now, considering that Night Stalker is very popular. And then you have this incredibly good ultimate that, you know, counters a bunch of the popular heroes that people like to pick in pubs, such as Juggernaut, Lifestealer, or if you're dealing with, you know, these Smurfs or boosters, Meepo players, Wyvern just completely dumpsters them. Tinker players, Wyvern also kind of dumpsters them because you have free pathing with Arctic Burn. You can find them in the trees. Winners curse them, yell at your teammates to follow up, and just kill the Tinker that way. I love this hero. I think it's maybe the best 5 in the game, at least in my opinion. So let's get into the 4s real quick before this video is over. I think that the best 4s right now, at least that I would be playing when I do get that role, are probably Phoenix, Leshrac, Shadow Demon, Tiny, Mirana, and maybe Rubik. Some of these are not really heroes that I play a lot of, but they're heroes that I saw basically all the pros playing a lot of. They're highly picked on Dota 2 Pro Tracker or trending upwards, and many of them also have very similar aspects to what makes the 5s good, is that they can sustain, they can fight a lot early on, they can create a lot of pressure, they can roam, they can push in waves, and they can all essentially scale to be somewhat of a core as well, which is a huge thing because I think that this meta is very, very snowbally because of how little gold there is on the map. And that's why GPM talents are very good, and heroes that can fight a lot are very good, because if you can start winning fights and start snowballing off those fights, then you start taking towers as well, and it becomes this very hard, deep hole for the other team to get out of, because if they can't fight you, and they can't farm because you're all over their side of the map because you have sustain and you're never going back to base, then it can be incredibly difficult to come back from a bad laning stage or a bad early game. Mirana, of course, is like the all-star. That's super S, triple S tier. As a 4, she just can control runes, she can roam, she can set up kills, she can solo kill people, she does massive burst damage in the mid game. You can go for carry stuff. You can go for magic stuff. You provide good vision with your arrow, with your leaps to get into weird positions. And then, of course, you make the enemy team supports and offlaners have to carry detection at all times, and that can make them a lot more poor than they would like to be as well. So yeah, pick Mirana. That's really all I have to say. It was basically banned every single game that I cast this weekend, and there's a very good reason for that. It's like 56% win rate as the most picked hero in high level pubs, aside from Night Stalker, who is also about 56% win rate. Aside from my one little hiccup, I basically played 1 to 2 games a day. I played 3 on my very last day because I was feeling good, and I had 1, 2. So just kind of, take it easy, have some fun. I didn't really feel any pressure while I was playing the games that I won, and I certainly was feeling pressure in the games that I lost. And it wasn't because the team that I was playing on or against was exceptionally different from any of the other games. It was just a matter of my mind state going into it, and I can just highly recommend just trying to enjoy the game when you're recalibrating, and you will gain plenty of MMR. We talk about it all the time. So anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble on a little bit about my thoughts on the meta, the heroes, and calibration. I would love to know your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section. As you can see, I lost 2 stars, but I gained almost 400 MMR. So if your metal has gone down, if your stars have gone down, don't panic. It's okay. It happened to basically everybody, and you're going to be able to climb back up pretty quickly, I think. So let me know how much MMR you gained, lost, how your calibration went in the comment section below, and we will see you in another video very soon.